Every residential proxy provider claims to have the largest IP pool in the world. 150 million IPs, 177 million IP, 200 countries covered. Okay, cool, but where's the truth here? Do they work fast? Is the quality consistent? Are they all worth the money? Is it easy to buy right now? If you're looking for the best residential proxy providers in 2026, especially comparing price versus performance, trying to find the best one for your money, this video will save you a lot of money and a lot of time. We are breaking down the top residential proxy providers, including these 6: Proxy, Oxylabs, Decodo, SOAX, IPRoyal and Floppydata, and actually comparing them based on these factors: real latency, real uptime under load, price per gigabyte, minimum purchase requirements, and KYC policies. We've done the testing and prepared the results for you, so it's not a flash marketing claim. We're focusing on residential proxies performance testing, real stress results, and the hidden barriers that determine whether a provider is actually good for freelancers, agencies, or enterprise teams. So let's break this down properly. What was actually tested? This comparison wasn't based on websites and AI overviews. It was based on real IP checks. IP reputation was verified through rescoring systems like AbuseIPDB to see if addresses were flagged or historically abused. Then we measured network performance, round-trip time, time to first byte, and download speed. Then we ran stress tests, 50 consecutive IP requests per provider, to see what happens when you actually use the proxies instead of looking at the web page. We checked DNS behavior, verified SOAX 5 handling, looked at uptime percentage, not guaranteed 99.9% claims, but actual success rate. Plus, we checked if the IPs can be purchased easily. Think of it. When the company is asking for your passport, your driver's license, your childhood photo, and your blood type, when you simply want to buy 10 gigabytes. Come on. While you're doing all that and waiting for them to reply, you might as well complete the entire project. In 2026, the market is different. Google is taking fake IP networks down left and right. It's no longer about who has the biggest pool anymore, because, as you know from the latest news, gigantic pools can be fake or even illegal. It's about who gives you the best and most predictable results per dollar spent. Floppydata, when low cost doesn't mean low quality. Let's start with the most surprising case, Floppydata. It's positioned as a low-cost residential provider, and normally when you hear that, you prepare for chaos. Unstable sessions, flagged IPs, endless retries. But here, the test results were very different. Reliability consistently ranged between 98 and 99%, and not on a tiny sample. Over time, about 250 IPs passed through testing with similar stability. Latency averaged about 1 to 1.3 seconds. That's strong, that's practical, that's usable. The data flow was stable, with just a few repeated requests. That directly translates to lower operational costs when you're running automation at scale. Now let's talk money. Brace yourself. $1 per gigabyte. Fixed. Again, 1. That's with the quality I just tested and gave you the numbers. I think this is impressive, especially when you compare it to the providers I'll mention in a minute. No hidden subscription tiers, no unlock better pricing after contacting sales, no mysterious pricing ladder. And what's best? No hard KYC. As far as I understand, the provider obviously has a regular list of block targets, for example banking, government, and so on. No KYC doesn't mean you can use it for illegal stuff. But compared to all other alternatives I'll mention later, here on Floppydata, you can just sign in and buy your 10 gigs in like 20 seconds. You purchase traffic starting from 9 gigabytes. Not the minimum you can find on the internet, but it's transparent, and I understand there needs to be a minimum cap since the price is $1 per gig. The dashboard is simple. You generate a pool in 2 clicks. There's a built-in proxy checker. Export format works cleanly with antidetect browsers. That combination, strong latency, high stability, and unbelievably low cost creates something rare in this industry: actual price-performance balance. That's why Floppydata is my top pick. BrightData, enterprise power with enterprise barriers. Now let's move to BrightData. This is one of the giants. Huge IP pool, massive infrastructure, enterprise-level branding. But onboarding here feels less like buying proxies and more like applying for a business loan. Suspicious activity, your account is frozen. Then manual verification, upload your ID, upload your card, wait for a review. At some point you start wondering if they're about to ask you to take a photo with your school grade records. Okay, to be fair, BrightData's IP tested clean, no blacklist issues, reliability hit 100%, but latency averaged over 3 seconds, and that's significantly slower than lower cost competitors. And pricing? Regular pricing starts at $8 per gigabyte on the pay-as-you-go plan, to get down to around $5 per gig if you're looking at roughly 800 gigabytes per month, which means about $4,000 monthly commitment. Yes, there is a promo code right now that gives you 50% off for 3 months, but I'm talking here about the usual pricing you can actually count on long term, not short-term discounts designed to make the numbers look nicer. So here's the serious question. When you pay that much, are you paying for better proxies here, or compliance infrastructure, brand positioning, and risk mitigation layers? BrightData is clearly optimized for companies with compliance departments and procurement budgets. For freelancers, it's excessive. Oxylabs, infrastructure with a monetary wall. Oxylabs follows a similar philosophy. Before even accessing the dashboard, forced manager verification. That tells you everything about their target audience. There's no typical pay-as-you-go setup here. The minimum commitment starts at $30 per month, plus VAT, and that gets you pricing at around $6 per gigabyte. If you want the advertised from pricing of $2.50 per gig, you need a corporate level plan at around $2,500 monthly commitment, plus VAT. Performance. Let's see the numbers. Speed around 12 megabytes per second. Latency around 3.8 seconds. Uptime during stress testing, 80%. 10 failures out of 50 requests. For an enterprise price solution, that's pretty uninspiring. Yes, the API is advanced. Yes, infrastructure is mature. But again, accessibility is kinda limited. The message is subtle but clear. We are built for bigger budgets. Decodo, the strong middle ground. Now let's step away from the giants. Decodo, formerly Smart Proxy. It's a larger company as well, but Decodo is at least trying to be friendly to regular people. Immediately, onboarding friction disappears. No forced manual review just to log in. Network size is still massive. 125 million plus IPs. Performance results were strong. Latency around 1.3 seconds. Speed around 12 megabytes per second. Uptime 100% in testing. Very balanced profile, but pricing reveals an important detail. The lowest advertised rate is $2 per gigabyte, but only if you commit to 1000 gigabytes per month. That means around $2,000 monthly plus VAT. If you're not buying at that level, the pay-as-you-go price is $4 per gigabyte plus VAT. So again, the attractive from price is really meant for larger buyers, not casual users just getting started. Also about KYC here on Decodo. It's relatively light here. You don't have to verify your identity to buy, but you will have to if you want to use social media as targets. Still, Decodo sits comfortably in the middle segment. Good performance, decent accessibility, fair economics. IPRoyal. Flexibility for smaller volumes. IPRoyal is a different story. Smaller pool around 32 million IPs, but very clear interface, very accessible. Highest download speed in testing, 25 megabytes per second. Latency around 3 seconds. Uptime 94%. A few failed requests in stress testing, but acceptable overall. Pricing here is a bit different than what people often assume. It starts at around $4.90 per gigabyte if you subscribe to 50 gigabytes per month. If you go for pay-as-you-go, it climbs all the way to $7.35 per gigabyte. So it's not the cheapest option on the list, but traffic never expires, and that's huge. For irregular users, testing projects, or occasional scraping, price flexibility matters more than pure bulk discount. However, IPRoyal also has strict KYC. If that is okay with you, I would call IPRoyal my number 2 choice after Floppydata. This brand also has a great quality and reputation overall. SOAX, flexible geo, complex reality. SOAX markets heavily on granular geo-targeting, city-level, ISP-level control. That sounds impressive, but the configuration was unnecessarily complex. Exporting proxy pools required additional adjustments. Speeds were the slowest in the test, around 2.5 megabytes per second. Latency around 2.3 seconds. There were even suspicions of DNS leakage. Now the pricing. The lowest rate goes down to $2 per gigabyte, but only on an 800 gigabyte commitment, which means around $1,600 billed monthly. On the other hand, the entry plan works out to be about $3.60 per gigabyte, with 25 gigabytes included for $90 per month. Also, SOAX has strict KYC, which means you can't just go buy their services if you don't want to send your ID to someone. SOAX is known for great quality IPs, but the entry bar might be too high for a smaller company or if you are a freelancer. The real story: KYC and minimum commitments as strategic filters. Now let's zoom out. Hard KYC and minimum commitments are often framed as security measures. And yes, it's true to an extent. Abuse prevention is necessary in this industry. But there is another layer. When a provider requires manual ID verification and large upfront commitments, they're not just protecting infrastructure. It's very simple. They're filtering clients. Hard KYC plus high entry barriers quietly remove freelancers, solo developers, and small agencies from the equation. And that might be you. Corporations simply don't want to mess with all these people. It's not accidental, it's strategic positioning. Large enterprise providers optimize for high volume, long-term corporate contracts. Smaller, flexible providers optimize for accessibility and scalability. Neither approach is wrong, but they serve different audiences. The mistake many users make is assuming bigger always means better. In 2026, that assumption no longer holds. That's one of the reasons I voted for Floppydata in the beginning. This is the smaller provider that makes proxies available with fewer barriers to jump over. Conclusion: efficiency beats show-off numbers. The dominance of massive IP pool bragging is fading. Now the competition is about stability under load, real latency, transparent pricing, ease of onboarding, and economic efficiency. Because at scale, what matters isn't how many millions of IPs a provider claims. What matters is how many successful requests you get per dollar spent. In 2026, efficiency beats prestige. And as you can see, the smartest choice by far isn't always the biggest brand. It's the provider that delivers predictable performance without unnecessary walls. As the recap of this video, I'm picking Floppydata as my top choice on price-efficiency balance, and IPRoyal as the best alternative. Okay, now thanks for watching. All links I mentioned are down in the description. Make sure to check them out. Like this video, drop a comment if you still have any questions, and tell me what I need to test next. See you in the next one.